Ladies and gentlemen, the road to WrestleMania 41 began last night, and today, on the season premiere of Sports for Beginners Season 4, we break down all the craziness at Royal Rumble in Indianapolis. It's the WWE Royal Rumble 2025 result, plus spring training is coming! Spring training is coming! What were some of the additions the Blue Jays made in the off season? Who did they subtract? We'll talk about that and some early season predictions, all on this episode of Sports for Beginners. Season 4 kicks off right now. Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show where I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and take you on a journey through the world of sports. From the fans' perspective, here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun. You name it, they returned. Nikki Bella, the Queen, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, the Goddess. You name them, they returned at the Rumble. Alexa Bliss, the Queen, Charlotte Flair, Nikki Bella. Oh my goodness, we had a Rumble full of surprises. 30 men, 30 women. Nikki Bella returned out of retirement. The 2024 Royal Rumble winner Bayley entered at number 12. And the other half of the women's tag team champions, Naomi, entered at number 15, which led to all three members of Pure Fusion Collective being eliminated at one time. Wow. We had some great debuts, some great returns. Oh, by the way, I should mention, as we welcome you into Sports for Beginners, season number 4. Can you believe it? 4 seasons in now? We just started this thing back in 2022 with our good buddy Ali Musa and our good man Thomas McGregor. And here we are 4 seasons later, getting you some wrestling news right off the jump. We want to talk some spring training and some additions early in the next couple of minutes or so. But my goodness, we got to talk about the Rumble. We got to talk about the Royal Rumble right here in Indianapolis. We got to talk about it in the area of Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee. Now, disclaimer, he was born and raised in Pennsylvania, in the state of Pennsylvania, but he has grown to love the Indianapolis community. Shout out to all of you who are out there in Indianapolis to witness the Royal Rumble in Indianapolis. 2025 Royal Rumble results. Well, Charlotte Flair wins the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. Yes, Women's Royal match. Royal Rumble match, which featured superstars such as Bayley, the Queen herself, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, and more, competing in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. And guess what? Charlotte is headed to Wrestlemania 41. She is headed to main event WrestleMania 41. She will be heading to WrestleMania 41. The Queen herself is headed to WrestleMania 41 to take on either Rhea Ripley or Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time. Is it Tiffy time? Or will we see the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, go head to head against the Queen, Charlotte Flair? She won the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble in her grand return to WWE, last eliminating Roxanne Perez to seal the victory. Match began with two former Women's World Champions as Io Sky entered at the inevitable number one spot with Watch Me, Watch Me, Watch Me. Liv Morgan entering at the equally unlucky number two setting, up and early, and up and setting up an early showdown between two of WWE's best. The goddess Alexa freaking Bliss made a shocking return. We all thought, the internet thought Alexa was done. She was not going to wrestle. She returns at the Rumble. And guess what? She immediately clashes with Bayley. And the ring filled quickly up as NXT's Roxanne Perez at number 3, Women's Intercontinental Champion, inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyrie entered at number 4, and Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green at number 5. All entered the fray, only for the 4 superstars to team up on the Loudmouth Green. Only for 4 superstars to team up on the Loudmouth Chelsea Green. The first former Women's Royal Rumble winner to enter the match was WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Bianca Belair at number 10, and the EST stacked her opponents and beat them down in the corner. 2024 Royal Rumble winner last year, Bayley, entered at number 12. And the other half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Naomi, entered at number 15, which led to all 3 members of Peer Fusion Collective being eliminated at one time. Jordynne Grace makes an incredible Royal Rumble entry, dominating Piper Niven with ease. Oh boy. You could talk about Hall of Famers all you want here in our leadoff, but the prodigy and the irresistible force, Nia Jax, well, that is the one who eliminated Nikki Bella. And then the Queen and the Prodigy teamed up on Jax and eliminated her seconds later. Flair nailed one final big boot to send Perez flying off the apron to the floor to become the first 2-time winner of the Women's Royal Rumble. The Queen of WWE turned in a spectacular effort in her return to the WWE, winning the Women's Royal Rumble match by last eliminating NXT's Roxanne Perez. In tag team action, DIY defeated the Motor City Machine Guns in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And over the course of the program, we'll get back into some of these matchups in a little bit, and I'll tell you some of the things I took away from this matchup. But it was the Motor City Machine Guns falling to DIY, the WWE Tag Team Champions. 2 out of 3 falls match was what we were looking at it, as Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano walked out of Indianapolis with their title as they defeated Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley in a 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY used some veteran savvy to fake a tag and trick Alex Shelley, leading to Ciampa still being the legal man. Tommaso Ciampa took advantage by cracking his opponent with a running knee strike to give his team the all-important first fall. DIY would fall into defension as they defend their WWE Tag Team titles against the Motor City Machine Guns, and that was a spectacle. That was a spectacle fight. But you know what? It was even more of a spectacle fight. The Men's Royal Rumble. Of course, we gotta talk about the Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble. The Women's Royal Rumble was fun, but the action leading up to the Men's Royal Rumble was even better. A delirious leader stands in the way between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, and to determine who is the rightful undisputed WWE champion. This was presented by the sponsor of the entire show, Wingstop, and the bitter rivals could not wait in Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. They could not wait to just brutalize one another as Kevin Owens smashed Cody through a ladder before the two battled throughout the enormous crowd. Champion and challenger finally got back into the ring and battered each other with ladders, but Rhodes found himself dangling from the titles only to be caught in mid-air with a power bomb. Owens' relentless attack on Rhodes was nearly punctuated by a package pile driver on a ladder, but it backfired when the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes hit a back body drop onto a separate ladder. Despite Rhodes fighting back, Owens grabbed him off the ladder and hit another power bomb, this time on a ladder set up in a corner. This went on and on and on until eventually Cody defended the title, and now he can rightfully call himself the undisputed WWE champion. And you know what, Kevin Owens, a valiant effort for someone that Michael Cole called delusional, because you were delusional. But hey, you fought brilliantly. Both Cody and yourself, you guys fought brilliantly. I would like to think that this is going to change things over, but we shall see what happens the rest of the way for you guys. Honestly, it doesn't matter, because a win is a win for Cody and a loss is a loss for Kevin Owens. But hey, now let's get to the main event, and this Rumble full of surprises. Oh, I forgot to mention, during the Women's Rumble, Trish Stratus also returned to the Rumble. So you got Charlotte Flair, you got Nikki Bella, Alexa Bliss, you got a couple of women that returned out of retirement. I thought we might see the man. I thought we might see the man, Becky. I thought we might see the man, Becky. Or, I mean, I know we weren't going to see the Eradicator because she's a champion, so she can't compete. But imagine this. Imagine this, WWE fans. Imagine this, WWE Universe. Imagine this. Rhea decides she's going to compete anyways because she wants a shot at Tiffany's title. She wants a shot at Tiffany's title that Tiffany took away from Nia Jax. When, as Tiffy put it, Nia let her guard down, and that was her opportunity to take it. Yay, Tiffany, it's Tiffy time! Will it be Tiffy time at WrestleMania 41? It remains to be seen. In the men's Royal Rumble that featured John Cena and a couple other great guys, we saw Jey Uso. Main event, Jey Uso. Yeet, 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 yeet. It came down to John and Jay, and in the end, Cena looking for the attitude adjustment. Jay counters and pushes Cena off the apron to win the 2025 and 38th annual Men's Royal Rumble match. He will headline WrestleMania 41, outlasting 29 superstars, including John Cena, who said on the Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix to say thank you to all of the WWE Universe and all of his fans. The best way to say thank you and probably win a 17-time championship, win a championship for the 17th time, was the heck, you gotta win the Royal Rumble. But it was not to be. So John will not main event WrestleMania. But that can change. That can change. Yes, it can change. I'm telling you, it can change. At the Elimination Chamber coming up soon. It can change coming up soon at the Elimination Chamber. Yes, at the Elimination Chamber. John Cena will be competing. As his farewell tour continues, he will be competing in, and I say in, he will be competing in the 2025 Elimination Chamber. COO of the WWE, Triple H, Paul Levesque, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, said that, guess what? Cena has called the shot, and he means what he's doing. He's doing this farewell tour from the WWE because, as he had mentioned, WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas will be the last WrestleMania he competes in. So the last time is now. Did he win the Rumble last night? No, he did not. But you know what? That's okay because there is a silver lining. And if I've learned anything from John Cena watching him on TV or watching fan reactions from inside the stadium, it's always live in the moment. Never give up. Never surrender. And that's exactly what John Cena believes in. He believes in hustle. He believes in loyalty. He believes in respect. And he would do anything to say thank you to the WWE Universe. This match started with Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio against Penta. Against Penta. It was a Mexicano El Membro del Salón de la Fama, Rey Mysterio versus Penta to kick off the 2025 Royal Rumble for the men. We could go on, but a lot to take in from this. Oh, by the way, after Carmelo Hayes defeated Akira Tozawa, I Show Speed entered in Tozawa's place, but he wasn't ready for the Rumble. Well, when he got in there, he was hyped up and ready to go. And I hate to bring this up. But this will take us to our first break of the program. And if this show becomes an hour, it's probably because of how long I spent talking about the Rumble and our results. We'll get into more of it as we go along on the show. But hey, you got to give these competitors credit. And I Show Speed was definitely ready to go as soon as he entered the WWE Universe. As soon as he entered the WWE Universe in place of Akira Tozawa, he was ready to go, but Braun Breaker made quick work of him. And I should mention, after the match and after the show, I Show Speed had his sights set on the 2026 Royal Rumble, looking to compete. But he did say, yes, he did say that he doesn't care whether you're John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He doesn't care who you are. He's going to be coming after all of you. He's going to be coming after every single one of you. Every single one of you. He's coming after. He is coming after every single one of you in the Rumble. He doesn't care who you are. He is going to be coming after you. So you better watch your back in 2026 at the Royal Rumble. You better watch your back, because I Show Speed will be back, most likely, at the next Royal Rumble. All right. Jacob Fatu entered at number 12, and he cleaned house, eliminating Mysterio, Chad Gable, and Andrade in a matter of moments. TNA World Champion Joe Hendry entered the match at number 15 to much fanfare before he, too, was dropped by Jacob Fatu. All right. I think we spent enough time talking about the Royal Rumble right now, but Bella Army, stay tuned. You never know what's next for Nikki Bella coming out of retirement and returning at the Rumble. When we return, we're going to flip the page to the baseball field for a little bit and talk about accusations and subtractions for the Toronto Blue Jays this season. It's going to look like an interesting one for the Blue Jays as season 4 has kicked off with a bang, and rightfully so. It kicks off with some Royal Rumble news. More Royal Rumble news on the way, so don't you dare miss it here on Sports for Beginners. Season 4 is live and in person and ready to rock. We got baseball coming up next, and then more talk of the Rumble. Maybe I'll provide you with a prediction. Yes, a prediction of who's going to win the big Sunday, this Sunday, that's right, this Sunday, the Eagles take on the Chiefs. Will the Chiefs three-peat? I'll probably bring you a quick, sneaky little prediction on that. Royal Rumble, MLB preseason, and Super Bowl. All the topic here on episode 1 of season 4 of Sports for Beginners that continues in a matter of moments. Stick with us.
Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment.
What a busy traffic on this Friday evening. I am almost stuck in this traffic for the last 40 minutes. And there is no way, I think, for me to get to the show. The Sienna T Radio Song Bank, which is going to start very shortly. It's one of my favorite shows. And my, what a way to wind down for the weekend. Perfect 2 hours of fun-filled music. And she has so many great features. Sound of Music, Undercover, Foreign Exchange. Name that tune. And the big wheel that she spins. For who's that? Or where are we? We cannot forget about the international stage. I have never come across such a great show in my life. I think I will have to press hard on my accelerator and go as fast as I can to get home in time. Wow! Look! I made it! I am almost there! Sienna T. Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
Oh boy, that was fun. That was a fun couple of minutes there. We talked for quite a couple of minutes there talking about the Royal Rumble. let's flip the page to baseball season. Play ball! Let's flip the page over to baseball season. The Blue Jays have been busy. They've been busy, but once again, everybody's talking about everybody for a long time. As we prepare for spring training, I'll get to some of my season predictions soon. But everybody's talking about everybody, everybody prior to these, everybody prior to these transactions the Blue Jays have made. They've been talking about the fact that the Blue Jays, once again, they missed out on Juan Soto. They missed out on a guy named Roko Saki. Oh, and remember last offseason, they missed out on a guy everybody knows and thought, oh, he's coming to Toronto on a plane. Well, there's this thing called the quiet game. And sometimes when you play the quiet game, you never really know you never really know who's going to come. You never really know. You never really know who's going to be coming to the Toronto area. Who's going to be coming? I for one, just to back this up, I for one had an had an I had an opinion that Shohei might be coming to Toronto, but I didn't reveal it on the air because I had a feeling if I revealed it, I was either going to be right or, and not to quote the Masked Singer host Nick Cannon, but I was either going to be right or I was going to be Ken Jong wrong. So I decided to keep my mouth shut. And in keeping my mouth shut, as I did keep my mouth shut. And I waited for the news when it became official that Shohei was not going to be in Toronto and he went to the Dodgers. I said, good thing I didn't spice things up and bring in my opinion on Shohei coming to Toronto, because before you knew it, all off season last year, minus many of the transactions the Blue Jays made, including now the Anthony Santander signing. They've signed Max Scherzer. They've signed Jeff Hoffman. They have signed free agent Kenyu Blanco. They designated left-handed pitcher Brandon Elzert for assignment. Orlando Marcellini was also picked up, and he was signed as a left-handed pitcher to a minor league contract. A lot of people are coming in, and some of these players, in particular Jimmy Garcia, he's back after he left during the 2024 season in a trade. So I'm kind of left wondering here. I'm kind of left wondering, what are the Blue Jays up to? I'm kind of wondering, what are the Toronto Blue Jays up to? I'm left wondering, what are the Blue Jays up to? What are the Blue Jays up to? Keegan Matheson of MLB.com wrote this on January 30th when the Scherzer deal went live. It's all starting to come together for the Blue Jays. Have agreed to a one-year deal with Max Scherzer. A source confirmed to MLB.com on Thursday, which I believe was Friday was the 31st. It was on Thursday, so Thursday, January 30th, 2025. The deal, which will be worth $15.5 million, pending a physical, immediately upgrades the Blue Jays rotation with a three-time Cy Young Award winner and an 8-time All-Star. Scherzer is now 40 years old, but he is still one of the best pitchers of this generation and has at least one more stop to make before the Hall of Fame. So, you know what? Yeah, I think so. Scherzer has been a force on the mound with 17 seasons, for 17 seasons, with 878 innings spread, with his 2,878 innings spread, reaching the 3,000th inning plateau in 2025. He's done and won everything, including a World Series ring with the Nationals in 2019 and one with the Rangers in 2023. Just 1 year ago, past 2024, which was last year. So the Blue Jays are betting on his incredible track record and trademark intensity. Last year's Scherzer's start to the season was delayed as he recovered from back surgery and an eventual nerve issue, but he came back in late June to give the Rangers a 3.9 ERA over 43 third inning and a third inning. Health will be a factor here, of course, but if the Blue Jays have one thing they can hang their hat on recently, it's the ability of Pete Walker and the club's training staff to keep veteran starters healthy and rolling. So let me just run this down for you. This would essentially mean that you have, for the Toronto Blue Jays, this would essentially mean that the Blue Jays have on their roster a couple of big players on their roster when it comes to the pitching rotation. I mean, you got Scherzer, you got Barrios, you got Bassett, you got perhaps Jimmy Garcia. I don't think Jimmy will start for I don't think Jimmy Garcia will start for I don't think Jimmy will start for the Blue Jays, but you got Max Scherzer, Jose Barrios, and a couple other great guys, including Chris Bassett. Are the Blue Jays done? I don't think so. I mean, they do need a left-handed bat. They do need some more great pitching. But if Scherzer, and I'm now looking at an article from Ben Nicholson-Smith on the matter of Sportsnet. By the way, Ben Nicholson-Smith and Arden Dwelling run At the Letters. They do an excellent job on that show as well. Shout out to them. Now, if Scherzer can stay healthy, if Scherzer can offer something like a 100, 102 to 102 inning in 2025, this deal can be a win for Toronto, who certainly don't need the 3-time Cy Young winner to reach his peak. Yes, reach his peak form to get its money's worth. If he tops out at 9 starts and 43.1 innings, again, this deal will go down as a mistake. What? Do I think it's a mistake right now? No. No, I don't. I don't. I like this deal. I really do. I really like this addition. I do. Cuz now you've got Berrios, possibly Alek Manoah, you've got Chris Bassett, you've got you don't have you do have Jimmy Garcia, but Jimmy Garcia is probably going to be in the bullpen. You have Kevin Gausman. There was a guy I was going to mention. Maybe Yariel Rodriguez. He might shift to the bullpen, though, with Scherzer's addition. That would leave you with Gausman, Berrios, Bassett, Bowden, and Scherzer in your 5-man rotation. We also have additions of Anthony Santander from the Baltimore Orioles. That's kind of an interesting move in my mind. And my good friend Ali, as I mentioned off the top of the show, and his next voice message will bring us back in our next break, as we're going to take 2 breaks on this show. Our second break is coming up soon. But just to keep things going here, I like the deal with Santander, but I have a little bit of mixed feelings on that. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman probably coming to Toronto. I think if the Blue Jays get lucky, they would get one of the two. I think they might get Bregman, or they could end up with Pete Alonso. If they don't end up with either of them, then you got to make a deal here, and you got to try to get something going. And a lot of the offseason talk right now has been around Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Yes. Why did I say Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Why did I say Vladimir? Well, first of all, we haven't signed. The Blue Jays have not signed Vladdy yet. If he doesn't get signed, Blue Jay fans, I have a feeling we could be seeing the end of Placata in Toronto. So if Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro and everybody in the organization doesn't pay Vladdy, they're going to have to trade him and try to do something that they did with Jimmy last year. But listen, you got to get something if you're not going to pay Vladdy. So I know Blue Jays fans might be listening, and I know the front office is probably going to try to block out the noise. But listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. You have to try to find a way to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Because if you don't sign him, and next season, like in 2025, this year, it turns out to be a bad season for the Blue Jays, I can see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. walking. Where will he go? I can think of one place he will not go, for certain, and that's the New York Yankees. Sorry, Yankee fans, I don't think you're going to get Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but you don't know. We could see something We could see something brewing from the Yankees and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We could see something. We could. I don't know. We'll see. But with that said, I want to move over to something from the Sportsnet staff, just by Sportsnet staff in general. I want to move over to something around when it comes down to the Blue Jays entering the 2025 season with a main goal, getting back to the postseason. Now, they dealt with many injuries and some statistical regression from key contributors last year, despite their disappointing results as a team infielder. Ernie Clement, who is still with the team, but it's been rumored that he could be on the move. And maybe Ernie is on the move. Maybe Ernie would be on the move. All right, I'll talk more about Ernie on another episode of Sports for Beginners, but there's a lot of time that we've talked about it here, and I don't want to go very long here. If it becomes an hour, it's probably because of our talk of the Royal Rumble. But here's one of my early season predictions. Ahead of spring training. And it's coming down to the starting lineup. If Ernie Clement doesn't move from Toronto, whether he gets traded before we start spring training or he ends up in Buffalo, I am predicting the starting lineup to be George Springer, my leadoff man, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. batting in the third place spot. I am also thinking that I would go George Springer, maybe Bo Bichette or Anthony Santander. I think actually, you know what? I think I would go George Springer, Anthony Santander, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Dalton Varsho, Ernie Clement if Ernie stays in Toronto. Andreas Gimenez, if we are able to get Gimenez in there to the lineup. And yeah, honestly, I can't really pickpocket more of the starting 9, but a couple of guys I just mentioned, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Dalton Varsho, Anthony Santander, George Springer. I could see a lineup with those guys in it. And of course, Ernie Clement. I could see a lineup with Ernie in it as well. Starting rotation, I think we see Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, Bowden Francis, Chris Bassett, and Max Scherzer. I think those are your starting 5. At least those would be my starting 5. I would go Kevin Gausman, Chris Bassett, Barrios, Bowden, and Max Scherzer. Now, if Max Scherzer is hurt and he's not ready for spring training, we could also see the return of Alek Manoah, the Puma. Alek Manoah. He could return and play in this year's season. How many starts will he get? That remains to be seen. We wish players who've been traded or hit free agency and tested the market from the Blue Jays, we wish them the best of luck. I am so happy that we have back. Jimmy Garcia. But that is going to do it for this segment. Coming up to end the show, more reaction from the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to quickly provide you right after this word and voice message from On the Ice and Behind the Benches, and a voice message from our good buddy Ali Musa. I'm going to provide you in our last call segment that we're going to do with my Super Bowl prediction. More reaction from the Royal Rumble, which happened yesterday. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and provide you with my Super Bowl prediction. I'm also going to provide you with a little bit of what you can expect this season on Sports for Beginners. A lot of it's going to be baseball content, so that means very weekly on select Fridays, you'll see some baseball content, like, for example, from the fans' perspective, we will have Fridays where we will talk about what you should and shouldn't do when you're at the ballpark or in the station. I should say watching the game on TV, rather. Anything like that nature. We'll also do promotional stuff. That we're going to wait to see when promotional stuff comes out. When that comes out, we'll make an attempt to do one of those. And that will be for each sport, but the baseball one is just what you should and shouldn't do when you're at the ballpark. That will make its triumphant return. Not on this episode, but it will make its triumphant return to the show in a few episodes' time. With that all being said, we'll be back after this from On the Ice and Behind the Benches. And a special message, I should say, a voice message that we've had from Ali Musa right after those words. More reaction from the Royal Rumble on Saturday. And this just in, it has come to my attention. It has come to my attention that the MLB has lost somebody. Yes, it has come to my attention that former MLB commissioner Fay Vincent has passed away. More on this story as he has passed away at the age of 86. More on this story in Last Call after this from On the Ice and Behind the Benches. And of course, our voice message from Ali Musa. Sports for Beginners Season 4 continues to roll on and wraps up on the other side with more on the Fay Vincent story when we return after this.
Don't go anywhere. There's more great conversations and content right around the corner. Sports for Beginners will be right back in a moment. Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches.
Hi, Scott. It's Ali here. I just wanted to mention that I'm really enjoying the show and I'm really enjoying what you're putting together. And I wanted to just say I'm enjoying being a part of it as well. So please keep up the phenomenal work and make sure you guys keep this podcast going because it really suits you well. Now, let's take you back to the action. To the rink and field we go. We find Scott McGregor.
Welcome back to Sports for Beginners podcast. Welcome back to Season 4's premiere episode. Surprise! Season 4 came a little earlier than expected. We wanted to do it we wanted to pretty much do it probably the week before we got to spring training, the week of, I should say. But Season 4, I should say, Episode 1, came at an interesting time when the Royal Rumble came around in the WWE. The road to WrestleMania is here. And before we get back to some more notes on the Royal Rumble, it has come to my attention today that Fay Vincent, a former MLB commissioner, has died at the age of 86%. Per the Associated Press, who put this out on Sportsnet, Fay Vincent became an unexpected baseball commissioner in 1989 following the death of A. Bartlett Giamatti, and then forced then was forced out 3 years later by owners intent on a labor confrontation with players. Has died. He was 86 years old. Vincent had undergone radiation and chemotherapy for bladder cancer and bleeding, said his wife Christina. He asked that treatment be stopped and died Saturday at a hospital in Vero Beach, Florida. According to Commissioner Rob Manfred, who said in a statement, he said, Mr. Vincent served the game during a time of many challenges, and he remained proud of his association with our national pastime. Oh, sorry about that. I hit something there. Sorry about that. Anyways, moving on to that. As the statement said, I'll just reiterate what I said there earlier. Mr. Vincent served the game during a time of many challenges, and he remained proud of his association with our national pastime throughout his life. A lawyer who became a movie studio executive BS that at the behest of a college friend, at the behest of a college friend. Vincent had been retired for 3 decades and lived in New Canaan Con and Vero Beach, Florida. During his 3-year tenure as commissioner, Vincent had a string of what he called free cigar days, angering owners by becoming the first management official to admit the following. No, sorry, I have that wrong. To admit the conclusion among teams against free agents following the 1985, 1986, 1980, and 1987 seasons. He suspended the Yankees' George Steinbrenner, divided expansion fees among both leagues, attempted to force National League realignment, and negotiated a settlement that ended a 1990 spring training lockout. Vincent said, according to an interview with the Associated Press in 2023, I had the conviction that being a commissioner was a public trust. I tried to do what I thought was best for the game, and the public cared so much about it. I had mixed results sometimes. I'm pleased with what I did. The tragedy of baseball is the single best thing I left undone was to build a decent relationship between the owners and the players. I thought somebody would take over after me and get that done. If I died tomorrow, that would be the big regret, is that the players and the owners still have to make some commitment to each other to be partners, and to build the game. Rest in peace, Mr. Vincent. I didn't know you all that well. I didn't actually know you at all. But rest in peace, Mr. Vincent. Before we continue to go Royal Rumble stuff, I want to take this time to take 2 minutes of silence to honor Ray, to honor Fay's memory, to honor Fay Vincent's memory. I'm going to take 2 minutes of silence before we roll on to close out the program. Starting now. Thank you. On our way back to the Royal Rumble here, we wanted to just take some time to acknowledge the one, the only Fay Vincent, as we just heard some terrible news breaking out of the MLB. We honor Fay Vincent for what he did for the league, despite everything that he put in to this great game of baseball. And we roll on here with our program. I told you we might be an hour. It might be because of the Royal Rumble, but it might also have been because of what we're about to experience here right now in our live recording as we experience some very terrible news here on our season 4 premiere episode. We honor Mr. Vincent and his family and hope everyone is doing well. We hope that you guys are doing well and mourn with you the loss of your dear friend and family member, Mr. Fay Vincent. With that all said, you are in our prayers, Vincent family. You are in our prayers, Mr. Fay Vincent. And without further ado, moving back on over to the Royal Rumble, here are some of my quick takeaways here as we move on into our last topic, Super Bowl. I'll give you my prediction in a second. But I want to let you guys know some of my takeaways quickly before we get to that prediction. So here we go. The Royal Rumble matches, when you look at the matches after the women won and during the Women Royal Rumble match and right before the men, I, I really like what I saw. I really liked what I saw when it comes down to Cody Rhodes taking on a delusional and I guess delirious leader in Kevin Owens. But uh, this had to stop at some point, and if it took a ladder match to do it, it was going to take a ladder match to do it. So one of my key takeaways is that huge fight between Cody and Kevin. Is their rivalry over by any stretch of the imagination? Are they back to being friends after what happened to each other? Well, that remains to be seen. A takeaway from the Women's Royal Rumble. I have two takeaways on that. Number one, the amount of legends that returned from retirement, including Trish Stratus, Nikki Bella. We also saw the Queen, who ended up winning the match, Charlotte Flair. Now we got to find out whether she's going to take on the Eradicator at WrestleMania 41. Is she going to take on Tiffany Stratton? She's going to take on? We're going to find out, I'm very sure, eventually. But these things will take time. And with that, my second takeaway is the return of Nikki Bella. I mean, Trish Stratus, Alexa Bliss, the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Some of these wrestlers never might have never even seen or have heard of. You might be hearing of them in dreams, but yeah. One quick takeaway here from the Men's Royal Rumble was the respect. The respect after John Cena came up short and became the runner-up in the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match, which was the 38th Royal Rumble match in men's wrestling history in the WWE. You gotta give respect. You gotta respect everything that John Cena stands for. You gotta respect what went down, even after the game, even after it. Well, a huge takeaway besides that respect was what happened before that. CM Punk shockingly eliminated the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and then Seth freaking Rollins before all three got into a savage brawl at ringside. During that point, Rollins stomped on the tribal chief, and just when you thought the Shield might be reuniting with just Roman and Seth, it didn't seem like that was at all the case. But again, we gotta look at it from another way. Personally, Cena and Jay shaking hands, hugging it out. They didn't exactly shake hands, but they hugged it out. And I think that was just the utmost respect. The utmost respect for a guy like Jay. So, main event, Jay Uso. Everybody was yeeting. Everybody was yeeting. Everybody was yeeting at the end of the match. John, well, he didn't exactly yeet, but you know what? It doesn't matter anyways. He knew what he was doing. And again, like I said in the opening of this episode, the best way for John Cena to say thank you to the WWE universe had to be to do well, it had to do with the fact that first of all, he wanted he wants to probably win a 17-time championship. He wants to win a championship for the 17th time. Yes. I mean, made it quite clear he does want to do that. And he knows that fans of his would like to see him do that in his farewell tour. But on Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix, he said, if you know anything about me, there, like, we never say give up, and we never give up. We never surrender, but we also do. And he also does believe, as I said before, in hustle, loyalty, and respect. So the best way for him to say thank you was to go and win the Royal Rumble. It didn't happen. But he could still main event WrestleMania. But as Triple H Levesque mentioned, who was the CEO of WWE, as he mentioned, you can, he can, John can still do it. He does not have to qualify. He will be in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber when it comes to Rogers Centre, the home of the Toronto Blue Jays, at Elimination Chamber time. John will be there in Toronto. He does not have to qualify. He's called his shot. He will be there at the Royal Rumble. Sorry, not Royal Rumble, at the Elimination Chamber. So now it's just a matter of is going to compete with him. Who is going to compete against him? Remember, John Cena said on the Monday Night Raw premiere on Netflix, he said fans would love to see him win his 17th championship and become a 17th time world champion. That he didn't think it was possible. But I come back to the end of his promo. You want some? Come get some. Well, everybody who competed in the Rumble on Saturday, some of them, but John faced, they wanted some, and they came and got some. However, it was Jay Uso who outlasted them all. He wanted the smoke, and he came and got the smoke. And as a result, John Cena, his clock on his farewell tour is ticking, match by match. His clock is ticking. His clock is ticking. But does that mean does that mean that he can't win a 17-time championship? He'd have to main event WrestleMania. He could still do that at the Elimination Chamber. Well, I still believe he can do it. I believe Cena can do it. I believe John Cena can do it. We'll keep an eye on that story on this farewell tour for John Cena down the road as things go down the road. I just want to let you guys know that. And with that said, this is it. This is the end of it. The end of our show here. as much as I would love, the Buffalo Bills to be in the Super Bowl, they are not there. And that's why this Sunday, Eagles Nation, fly, Eagles, fly. Fly in New Orleans. Fly into New Orleans. Defeat the Chiefs. Give me the Eagles. And Saquon Barkley. Give me the Eagles to take down the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. If the Chiefs do three-peat, congratulations to them. I would not like to see it, but if it does happen, so be it. Bills Mafia, I want to let you know, though, that I have faith in the Buffalo Bills to get us what we want. I have faith that the Bills will get us what we want. I have faith that Buffalo will bring a Super Bowl to West New York very, very soon. If it's not in 2025, maybe it's in 2026. Maybe it's in 2027. Maybe it's down the road in 2028. Maybe it's 2029. We will see. We shall see. The bottom line here is we shall see what happens on Sunday. But I still believe Buffalo has an opportunity to win the Super Bowl at some point in time. And with that being said, that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode of Sports for Beginners. Thank you so much for joining us here today on this surprise episode of Sports for Beginners. Season number 4 is underway earlier than expected. Looking forward to seeing you guys when episode 2 premieres one Friday from this Friday. More spring training talk coming your way as we get ready for spring. I'm hoping to get Brian Talbot on here for some off-season talk. We'll see what happens with the Bills. We'll definitely do a season review. But until then, and until the next time we talk to you, my name is Scott McGregor. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time on Sports for Beginners. And until next time, keep calm, trust one another, be kind to one another, and for those sports teams you love and cheer for, cheer loud and proud. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to Sports for Beginners. If you would like to learn more about the show, you can visit the podcast Facebook page or visit the official website. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. As we always remind you, it is not goodbye, it is until next time.